Hey, True Believers. Chris Mac coming at you with X-Force number 8. And out of all the Dawn of X books, X-Force and Wolverine have been the ones that have been relatively entertaining to me. And what's cool is both of them are being written by Benjamin Percy. And what's been building up to this issue has actually been really interesting. So I don't want to spoil too much, but to kind of understand where we're going with this, I need to kind of elaborate on some things. So you find out in past issues, which I'll try to get re-uploaded, that Domino got kidnapped by this shadow organization called Xeno, and they took a lot of her skin grafts and they're kind of I think organs or something to that extent, and they're making this organization is making their own dominoes, their own mutants in a sense, to put out their own schemes because they are anti-mutant. So you'd think, well, it's the Hellfire Club, but no, the Hellfire Club's part of Krakoa, or what's going on here. This one looks just like her, but she's set up to do an assassination. And what kind of happens with Domino, with all of these parts of her taken, is she's noticed that her mutant power, her luck, is not as intact as it used to be, as where this antithesis version of her is. She says, "I am the weapon," which is kind of an interesting idea, seeing as how Domino is always lucky and is able to kind of get out of anything. This is interesting to kind of see her have to struggle just a little bit. And what's cool is when you watch the last issues, instead of them killing her and resurrecting her, Forge just gives her Krakoan implants, and it just kind of really makes her look neat, especially with the new eye she has here. It's a really cool idea where she's just like not whole, and so she feels this, and she feels incomplete. So I don't want to spoil that intro, but it was really, really cool. I like what kind of happens there. And as I said, this book is written by Benjamin Percy. Bazaldua, if I again slaughter these, I apologize, is the artist. Guru EFX is the color artist. VC's Joe Carmanga is the letterer. And then here's everyone else associated with the book. And this one is called Game of Dominoes. So Sage here, she's like the living computer. She's saying that there could be a whole lot more dominoes. And what I like is, Nina Domino here says, well, after I killed this one, I feel like a little bit of my luck came back, because she uses this four-leaf clover as an example, because she was talking about how wherever she lived, these four-leaf clovers would grow, like hundreds of them. And she said after she survived this last ordeal, she found one. So that's kind of cool. Now, she has a lot of this PTSD going on from what happened at this flesh lab, where she was ripped apart. And then I can't remember, if you guys can help me remember if this was House of X or if it was in the Marauders comic. I can't remember if Colossus died or if he almost died and the Marauders saved him. And so he hasn't exactly been the same either. It's like a piece of him is missing. So him and Domino have been kind of meeting and talking. And, and I remember when Peter was kind of brooding there for a while, like when he left the X-Men and went on to Avalon with Magneto, because Ileana had died, his brother had died, and it ultimately, led up to him sacrificing himself. But this is more brooding than usual, because he's talking about just grabbing Domino and both of them just drowning right there in the lake and doing the resurrection and having their minds wiped of everything. But what I like is, even though Domino is conflicted, she says, "I need to remember." So it's just really weird to see Pete like this. And so we get a little bit of the science talk, which is kind of blah, and then these essays, so tiresome. But anyway, to break it down, Sage says that she's found more of these skin labs, but they're mobile now, because Wolverine and X-Force tore through one of them, and that was horrific. I'll make sure to get that issue back up. But she's able to finally get Colossus off of Krakoa and to help her. And she goes, "If I don't have luck on my side, then a big, sweet bulldozer is the next best thing. And I just love this classic Colossus look here, and then Domino, of course, just really cool. Though I kind of wish in a sense she kind of had that big hair like she did back in the Leaf-filled X-Force days. That would have been kind of cool, but her modern look's alright too. And then what I like is, hold on, how do you pronounce that? Bazaldua is how we said the artist's name? Let's go back to the beginning real quick, because not enough coffee. Bazaldua. So I like that he does these panels where you see them jumping from one train to another, and the panels just kind of break up like that. It's really neat, and why the art team is doing this really cool job there. Nina here is talking about, I realized ever since I escaped the lab, I've never stopped moving. And ever since the Marauders extracted you, you haven't moved. So I like how Percy is setting these two up where they're kind of like yin and yang, and they're actually kind of helping each other. You know, and Peter's saying, well, I should, you know, feel good to kind of get off the island and back into civilization. But he says, but right now, I can't help but feel I've seen enough blood. And you're just like, whoa, that is intense. And you want to know what's going on. So this big fight ensues. And what I like is, I kind of wish there was some more action panels, but this double page splash art here, when you look at it, you know, in detail, like if you get up close, you know, the characters here look kind of blah. But what I like about it is, okay, even though that's kind of blah, this shows the progression of how Domino and Colossus are moving through the train. And then, you know, you see him and Domino fighting, and you see how Pete gets out of the train and eventually crashes it. Now that's cool. And then what's fun is how Domino here, because these are all clones they're fighting, she goes, when you stack a bunch of dominoes beside each other, it's impossible to resist giving them a shove and watching them topple and crash. And so, you know, you see the whole train just stop. That is really, really cool. I like that a lot. But anyway, some things happen with Domino and Colossus, which I'm really hoping goes somewhere, because it's really interesting to see the way those two are growing with each other. And then this is the Xeno guy. They call him the man with the peacock tattoo. And I like how Percy's been pacing himself and building this guy up, though I hope we eventually start to see more of them, because, you know, we're 8 issues in and we still don't know a whole lot. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this character goes. So I don't want to spoil any more of this book, guys. Like, this isn't like the greatest comic book ever made, you know what I mean? It's not the next great American novel, but nonetheless, the action, and then, you know, just seeing the stuff like the train and Colossus being able to smash things, it's like, yes! And then just seeing Domino and Colossus work together through their struggles, you know, it's like, what do you call it? Two veterans who are able to kind of lean on each other, and no one else is going to get it, but they understand each other, even though Domino, on her side, she just feels like she has to constantly be moving because she was bound and eviscerated, I think is the word. And the Colossus, on the other hand, he just, you know, he wants to be a man of peace. That's all he's ever wanted, but his life just will not allow for that. Just kind of how what happened with Havoc and Polaris back in the Claremont days, where they wanted to quit the X-Men, but they always found themselves back on the roster. So yeah, X-Force number 8. If you guys have enjoyed this comic book, please make sure to first and foremost check with your local comic shop and see if they have a copy. And then also, if you've enjoyed this review, we'd really appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little domino bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. You can come to the channel, and we'd love to have a dialogue and hear your feedback down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I will leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.